Vishnu Padaya It's already auspicious. A good choice to be here and come together to, devote our attention and our hearts and minds to understanding more of this. It's a sacred science. It's a mystery in the sense of the power of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the power of Kirtan. Kirtan is the Sanskrit word for songs, sounds that are meant only to glorify the Supreme Lord. I have to check. Is there anyone here who has a little difficulty with the English? Because I can mix it up a little bit. Can you follow English? It's all good? Yes? Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Kirtan is meant uniquely to glorify the Supreme Lord. In India, where people are familiar with this culture, there are all kinds of rituals, temples for all kinds of devas, which obviously we should respect. But to say there can be like Kali Kirtan or Ganesh Kirtan, that's actually not the proper combination. We should definitely respect the devas, but Kirtan, according to the Shastras, the scriptures, is meant for the Supreme Lord. And the mantra which we just sang, Man means the mind, Tra means to free or to deliver. And a mantra, a bona fide mantra, is a sound, transcendental sound. It's sound that we can hear with the material ears, but it's actually not a material sound. Maybe you've already felt a little bit of what energy started spreading just by 5 minutes of this kirtan with a bona fide mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Maha means powerful. It is there are all kinds of mantras, but Maha Mantra is very powerful, and the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is the it is actually the way, the easy way, the recommended way for self-realization for the time that we are living in. Now, if I just say the time that we are living in, you probably already think, oh my God, it's such a difficult time. Because the papers, the troubles, the wars, our own mind, our health, our so many things. There are so many troubles. If we think about them, we already become, oh yeah, it's hard, life is hard. So because life is so hard in Kali Yuga, is the time we're living in, it is not easy to focus on spiritual practice. If we take it, the lessons from Lord Krishna, from the Bhagavad Gita, the famous, like the ABC actually from this, see the mantra's already there, it's important. Yeah, the teachings of Lord Krishna to Arjuna, he's teaching, the first thing, what is he teaching about to Arjuna? The first thing, when he starts to speak. You are not your body, you are a spiritual soul, and your body can perish, yes, it will perish, but your soul will not. And to actually realize that truth, we all have a feeling that there's something in us that wants to live forever. It doesn't want to die, it doesn't want to grow old. We do so many things. Now I bought these expensive creams. She laughs about it. How old are you?
Anti-aging creams.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent really 150 euros on it. Yes, for several tubes. Yes, to keep this up a little bit. At the same time,
the mantra is free.
The mantra is free. Very good. And the mantra is able to help us to realize that. Yes, we want to be eternal. Why? We want to live forever because we are eternal. We are a spiritual being trapped in a material body. And we are our mind is also subtly material, and it's full of material ideas about ourselves. I am a woman, there is a man, I am in Eindhoven, this is not my city. And like all these things, the Vedas call these upadis. They're like labels that we put on ourselves, which are not really us. Just like she knows, like in pink. My
everyone knows you. No?
But I'm not a pink. I'm not pink. I like the color, but I'm not these things. I can take it off. I'm still there. Yeah. So we know it, but we don't really focus on it. I can still spend money on things that are not really me. Maybe you know how it goes online. Anyhow, the thing is, we want to go deep in life. We know that time is short. Just already now that we are all together here, it's a miracle because we are all so busy. But we make time to go deeper in this. Our lifetime is also not going to last forever. So we want to use what they call this life hacks, best practices, in the business world. They want everything fast and to the essence, the Vedic essence. Mm-hmm. So in this time of distraction and trouble called Kali Yuga, we still have this hankering to understand the deepest truth about myself. Who am I? What am I doing here? How can I be happy? How can I protect those I love? How can I do it? I work like ass to do it, but I'm still failing. Is there a better way? We wonder. And yes, there is a better way. Because for every age, every cosmic age, we have spring, summer, fall, and autumn, and winter, right? But cosmically, there are also ages, and all the ages have different symptoms that are very prominent and that you and I cannot change. Just like the trouble of the world, we cannot change it. We can hopefully endure it or not think about it too much, but we cannot magically change it. But we can change, and we should change, if we want to feel better, our consciousness. We are able to clean our heart and our mind, but not with soap. And we cannot reach eternity by anti-aging cream. That is all superficial, but we can reach to the soul, to the real us, by transcendental sound. Like the soul is eternal, the name, the mantras, like the Hare Krishna mantra, is eternal. And when we sing, or even when we just hear this mantra, it will wake up something. It will stir up some joy that before we didn't have, maybe. And still, the bank account is not so full as you wanted. The weather is too hot or too cold or whatever. Nothing externally changes, but we feel different. We feel better. Why? Because we get in touch with our essence, our soul, and the soul has 3 features. Who knows what that is? 3 features that define who is our soul. Yes, very good. He says Sat, Chit, Ananda. And Sat means? Eternal. You said it also?
Ananda.
Ananda is?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Ultimate happiness.
Happiness. Sounds good. Chit. What is Chit?
Truth. Consciousness.
Knowledge. So consciousness, knowledge, very good. That sounds good, right? We are eternal. We are full of consciousness, full of knowledge, and we are full of bliss. That is the real us. And then we get stuck in this material world, this samsara, reincarnation. You've heard about it, or you believe it, karma. It all becomes very complicated. But our essence is very pure. And when we reconnect with our essence and we understand what is this soul that I am, apparently, where does it come from? Is it just, floating through eternity? Or does it have an origin? Yes, it has an origin. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 29. No, that's another thing. He says, let's see, I got to drink water. My machine runs on enough water. Yes. Mamaivam jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. The living entities, he says to Arjuna and to us, are my eternal fragmental parts. But now, due to conditioned life, because we identify with all this stuff around us, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. So, back to our story with the mantra, our point, it's not a story, it's truth. I work with it in my daily life. The mind can become uplifted, can be purified when we give it this transcendental sound. And it can be either you listen or you read from holy scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, also, or you chant japa like this. You've seen maybe some devotees, they have this bag, maybe you have it also with the mala, even the Christians, the rosary, it's prayer beads. So we can chant this Maha Mantra on every beat, we can chant it. And then we can continue a whole round, we can do more rounds. But this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is the way to self-realization in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga lasts, according to the scriptures of the Bhagavatam, how many years? No?
432,000?
Yes, very good, thank you. 432,000 years. This is this winter age, they call it, from the cosmos. And it started about 5,000 years ago. So we have 427,000 years to go in the cycle of Earth, in which this Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Katiranyata. So the holy name of the Lord, Hare Nam, the holy name of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord. There's no other way. The other ways from the other ages, they don't work in Kali Yuga. In the other ages, you see that still you hear it in the Bible. And there was Methuselah, right? How old was Methuselah? He's very old, hundreds of years. Abraham, he was said to be about 900 years. But we are not aware of that. That's possible that somebody can live 900 years. But in a previous age, people would live longer. They would be more, were no cell phones probably. And people were more able to devote, the atmosphere was not so contaminated by sinful activities. People were able to remember more that the goal of life is to self-realize, get free from this cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. So they would devote themselves. The schools, the education, the knowledge was much more available. Now, we're happy if we remember the birthday of our mother. We're so overwhelmed, with so many things. So we need a very powerful measure, and this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is very powerful. In previous ages they could sit, meditate. Which age was this?
Satya Yuga.
Yes, very good. So first it's Satya Yuga, then there was meditation, was the way to meditate on the Supreme. But then you had to meditate for 60,000 years. You lived 100,000. We cannot imagine it even, But that was, according to the Vedas, this was the way to meditate. And then this next was Treta Yuga, right? Yes. And in Treta Yuga, the process was not meditation. People lived, how long? 10,000 years. And the process was the fire sacrifice, yes. The fire with that's after. In Krishna's time, that was Dvapara Yuga. Then the process was the worship of God in the temple, offering so many things. But all that, it has become too costly. People have no faith in that. We're just so distracted. In one sense, we are unfortunate because life is hard. We live very short, maximum 100 years. So much knowledge and wisdom is lost, apparently. But God is still very merciful, and He wants us to wake up to our real identity so we can qualify to return to Him, because He loves us and He misses us. The whole Bhagavad Gita, some of our leading devotees, they say this actually is a love letter of God to us, because He's like sending a message in a bottle, Hello, I miss you. Come, give everything, Sarvadharma Parityaya, give it all up, all your dharmas, whatever you have fabricated that's so important in your life. It's not your essence. Your husband, your wife, your job, your bank balance, your reputation, your sports career, it's all not really the real you. The real you, Mame Vamsa, is a part of me, and I miss you and I want you back. Please come home. Now, God is very powerful. He could just grab us all and say, okay, that's it, enough, we're going home. But He doesn't do that. Why not? Why doesn't He do that?
Because we have a free will.
Huh?
If I want, if I don't want. If I don't want to go. I want to stay here and
Yeah.
enjoy material world.
Yeah. Then we play in the playground where we can, this is the material world, we can imitate Krishna, we can be a little bit beautiful with the right cream, and we can be some powerful, go to the gym, we can like have so many followers, we can, everything that God has in Purna, in full, we imitate. We have a little bit of it and we become attractive, of course, because
Everything is temporary.
it is temporary, and it is according to our good karma. We'll get some, and then we'll lose it again in the river of time. So it's all actually, towards eternity, it's make-believe. We are make-believing that we are something or someone that we actually are not. We are Sat Chit Ananda, we are part of Krishna, and we can realize it by chanting Hare Krishna. And that is actually short and simple. Some theology about it, which of course you can say so many other things. But yeah, one thing I do want to mention that this great soul, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, he has taken the great burden of love. He followed his teacher, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who told him when he first met him in 1922, I think. He met him. Prabhupada was just married. He just had maybe his first child. He was like a businessman, like many of you. Perhaps you're from India. You have been, or you still are. You know that life. It's very respectable. Nothing wrong with it. But Prabhupada was not going to be a sannyasi and give it all up and come to the West. But his teacher said, "You are an educated man. You should preach the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English, and you should give this knowledge to the whole world." And Prabhupada thought, how is that possible? India is subject, it's under the rule of the British. So he said, we're not independent, we should be independent first. And then his teacher said, no, this is so important, this knowledge, it can't wait. So Prabhupada, he took it in his heart, and throughout his life he prepared himself. And when he was 69, I'm already hurting, and I'm only 60. So, but when he was 69, he boarded this boat because nobody gave him money for a plane ticket. So he boarded this boat, this freight boat, not a cruise boat, a freight boat. And then he came to the West, and he tried to give this knowledge. He said, you just chant and you become happy. You want happiness in so many ways. Chant Hare Krishna. But people didn't take notice. But then at some point we just saw this tree. We went to New York, and he went to this park, and Prabhupada had the cartels, the little bells, and chanted Hare Krishna mantra under this one particular tree in the Tompkins Square Park. And gradually people started to appreciate, this is nice, this feels good. And the hippies became happies. They started to dance, and somehow or other, of course, he was also teaching the wisdom of the Gita. It caught fire, it became something, Hare Krishna movement. And because of him and also this person, you know him maybe, George Harrison, right, from the Beatles, John Lennon. Also, when they took notice of this mantra, the power of this mantra, they really popularized it very much. So we owe a lot of gratitude, especially to George Harrison. But the interesting thing is, so it's not just something for Indian saints. It is something for all people. It is like breathing. It is like sunshine. We cannot do without this connection with who we really are and where we really come from, and with who loves us the most. We cannot be fully happy without experiencing this truth in our life. And when we will experience it, then when we experience it more, then when we share it together, even with strangers, we will experience a joy and a friendship that, you can't network yourself on your, LinkedIn or whatever. We try, we have to, establish ourselves, but it's not the same as this spiritual happiness which we get when we come together with Hare Krishna chanters. So, does it make some sense so far? Can you follow? I'm meandering. I take different things, but I hope it makes sense. There are 4 seasons. We're in the Kali Yuga. It's the worst, but it's also the best, because we get the most powerful and the easiest and free mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So maybe if someone has a question, or maybe you'd like to share something about your experience with this Hare Krishna mantra, then go ahead.
Maybe I can add a little bit about the free thing.
Yeah.
Because we were having this discussion, and we were also listening to a class of Radhika Raman. Maybe you know him, was a very amazing teacher. He went to Harvard when he was 13. He's like crazy smart. And he was saying that all of these mantras that we know, not just this mantra, but all the mantras, they come from the Vedas originally. And he said it's like a science. Like, you know, if you have, for instance, a recipe, you're cooking, you make a soup, all the ingredients have to be right. You have to cut it in a particular way, then you have to blend it, you have to put enough salt, this, that. It has to be very specific in order for it to taste good. So he said all these Vedic mantras, we had to do like very properly. You had to sit a certain way, you had to speak it a certain way, you had to be clean, you had to have the, you know, all the signs on your body and say it, and it was like a whole thing. But with this Maha Mantra, it's very different. It's open for everyone. There are no qualifications. Anyone can say it. You don't need to sit in a way. You can walk through the forest. You can sit here. You can drive your car. But and then it will still work. That's how powerful it is. So it's universal. It's for everyone. You don't need any qualification. And what's also nice is that the Vedas, you know, is such a big book, or not really a book, like a body of knowledge, that they thought, oh my God, to read all of that, to learn all of that, you need 15 lives where you only study. So, you know what, we make a conclusion of it, like a summary. It's the Vedanta, you know, they summarized it.
You heard of Vedanta?
Vedanta.
Yeah.
But even that is too much, you know, too philosophical. So they thought, let's make it into stories that we can understand and follow. So they made the Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, and Srimad Bhagavatam, if you have it at home, this is 1 out of 18, 12 cantos, 18 books, like this, a series with all these verses and mantras and stories and things and that. But the very last verse of this book, you could say is the conclusion of the conclusion of the conclusion, and then it says, just chant the holy names. That's all you need to know. Forget all the knowledge, just chant, because all the knowledge is already within you. We're cheat, we are made of knowledge. So by chanting this mantra, it sort of opens up what's already within us. So it's sort of the key that opens the lock to our heart and to all the knowledge that's inside. So hopefully you can
Let me
experience
just
that.
read it. That's the point, but it's nice to hear the voice, the verse also. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha samanastam namami harim param. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy names destroys all sinful reactions, and the offering of obeisances unto whom relieves all material suffering. So to chant congregationally, as we just did, together, that is more powerful than by ourselves. And it will just destroy our sinful karma, which is our sinful reactions are keeping us in this world. Because, when we do something wrong, we already know, like the police, the traffic, the judges, we're likely to be punished. And then when we get punished and sit in the jail, we meet all other criminals and we get more wrong ideas, perhaps. You know, so we just, it's like, okay, how do I get out of it? It's difficult, because to always do the right thing when you're not educated in that, it is almost impossible. So we need some shortcut to cut ourselves actually out of this entanglement in this samsara bandhana. And that is the chanting, together to chant the name. And you know, when you love someone, when he or she is sweetly calling your name, it touches your heart, is it? So we can understand God when we understand ourselves, because we are part of Him. So when we understand how do I love, how do I become attached to someone? For example, when they sweetly sing your name or give you different names and be nice to you. So if we kindly, sweetly sing Hare Krishna, it touches Krishna's heart and he becomes merciful to us. And especially the little, it's not little, it looks little, but the figure, the deity on the right side, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. This is a verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I believe, that Lord Krishna Chaitanya, he's not different from Radha and Krishna, Nahe Anya. He is a combination of Radha and Krishna. Hare is Radha, Krishna is Krishna. But he comes in Kali Yuga. He knows, like Krishna says, okay, Arjuna, give it all up. Sarvadharma Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam. Just surrender to me. I will protect you from all your sinful reactions. Masucha, don't fear. Just surrender to me and I will protect you. But in Kali Yuga, are we surrendering? No, we're not. We're just like, okay, leave me alone, I don't trust him, this, that. We've been bitten and we're shy, or we are biting, so we're not in the mood of surrendering. So Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna, he knows that. So he doesn't even put a condition. He just says, Haribol, Haribol, Jai, Hare Krishna. He did, as you said, there is no bar, there is no condition. We can just have the highest thing, the essence of all the Vedic knowledge for free. And even then, we're not taking. Because either we don't know.
We are taking.
Yeah, we are
Let's
taking.
try.
But the thing is, in the world, how many people know this? How many people believe this? It's still few. But there is hope. There's in Holland now, we have many nice places like Eindhoven. We just had a beautiful Rati Yatra here. Huh? That was very nice. We're going to have another Rati Yatra, which is public chanting in the streets in Rotterdam on August 18th. So if you're free, please come. It's going to be another August 18th, Sunday in Rotterdam. Rati Yatra Rotterdam. It's the last Rati Yatra this year. Please come. It will be very joyful. Okay, so I think that maybe we can give it another try. Now with some more background information. Even if you do this as an experiment, if you don't have the faith or the devotion, but maybe some people have, that doesn't matter. You can still try. It still will work. So we welcome to feel free to just stand alone and see what happens for you.
Maybe a small thing before also. It was a very interesting story that popped up on WhatsApp one of these days, and it was circulating through all the different WhatsApp groups. It was about this lady, and she was working in a hospice, so where people, are about to die.
Devotee.
A devotee, yeah. And she was there and seeing all these people slowly leave their body, but she was not thinking that my end can also actually come, any moment it can happen. So one day she began feeling sick while she was working, and she began fainting every now and then, and suddenly she was in the same, in this institution where she was working. She was also in a hospital bed.
Getting ready to leave.
Yeah, getting ready to leave, and she was in such a state of mind that she knew, I have to remember something, someone, but of course Krishna and God, but she didn't remember who. So she knew that she needed to remember someone, but who she didn't know, So she said, Mama, because that was the person that came into her mind, But the doctor, he knew that she was a devotee, so he whispered in her ear some mantras and the Krishna mantra. And when she heard the mantra, that was the moment she left her body. But she had a near-death experience, so she was dead for a little bit, and then she came to life again, and she shared what her experience was. And her experience was that her deities, which she had served for 25 years, they became alive, they became animated, they walked towards her, and they began to show her her life. We hear that many people see their life in a flash. And she thought, if now I would make my life into a flash, I would see the moment that I got my child, that I got my house, that I won the lottery, that highlights, big moments. But she said that the deities, they showed her none of that. They showed her all the moments that she was chanting. with other people. Kirtan.
Yeah.
So she said in big groups, thousands of people when she was chanting in festivals, but also when she was just sitting in front of the altar with someone else. And what she was seeing is that from this chanting, golden light was emanating, and it was warming the globe. It was like...
But not the global warming.
Not the global warming.
It was warming the heart.
Warming the heart. So that shows how powerful it is, you know. And yeah, so I thought that's a nice also meditation to bring along. And also one last thing before we really start is actually a little exam, because you said to me that you've been doing Gita here, right? Going through the Gita. You're now in chapter 14. Yeah. So you have read chapter 10, right? And in chapter 10, Krishna is saying, of all the beasts, I am this. Of all the bodies of water, I am this, right? He's saying where we can see him, where we can find him. So, a little quiz. He's saying from all the trees, I am the tree. Banyan tree, yeah. Of all secrets, I am silence. Yeah, of all the secrets, I am silence. What else? Of all the stars, I am the
Ruas.
the moon. The moon. Of all the bodies of water, I am the ocean. Yeah. And then he says, of all kinds of ways to meditate, I am sacrifice. I am the chanting of the holy names. Japa. So he's actually saying, I am that. So what we're chanting is directly God. It's directly him. It's not a method to get to him. It is him. If we open our hearts, we can immediately receive him. So let's try that. So I'll sing a little bit, and then Rati will also sing, and maybe then the arti can take place.
Yep.
Okay. Sing a new melody we learned in India.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
harmonium is already falling apart after the first game.
Oh, yeah.
Jai. Yeah, I could sing this melody forever. It's so nice.